I was a stupid kid. Yeah, flat out moron. And I hate to call people in their early 20s kids, but I had the mentality of a kid. And not only a kid, but a stupid kid. Yeah. And you might be sitting there thinking, what the hell does this have to do with Paul? I didn't come here to hear this dude yak about his life story. Well, it has everything to do with spoken word. Not only was I a stupid kid, I was reckless. And I still have some of that in me. And I equated recklessness with manhood, with bravery and courage. There's a certain level of that in manhood, but you can go a little too far into flat out stupid. Yeah, that was me. I was stupid. You might notice that the one ball is usually down by the right hand corner pocket, and that's because I break from the left side on this old Brunswick table. And the whole agenda is to control the one and to get it down there by the pocket. Before we go on, let's take a look at the graphic and get a better view of this table and find out what the problems are. At first glance, this looks like a simple basic runout, but we do have some problems here. And if you notice me on video, I'm checking out this 6 ball to see if it goes by the 9, and it doesn't. So that really just leaves one pocket for that 6 ball, and that's this top right hand corner here. Once we get past the 1, 2, and 3, which are really easy, and you see me run these patterns all the time, we have a problem on this 4 ball. It does not pass the 8 in that corner, and it does not pass the 7 in this corner. And I also don't want to shoot it up table because of where the 5 is, and I'll try to explain more of that once we get to it. But I don't like where this 5 is. I never like balls close to the rail near the side pocket. They're always a nuisance and a problem. But really, with that 5, I'm not going to move it, so there's not much we can do except deal with it. So, what is the plan? And I've decided to shoot the 4-7 combination, but this is really hairy. If that 4 ball gets away from us, we're going to be in big problems. We have to hit that 7 ball full with the 4 ball, and we have to shoot it very late to make sure that 4 ball doesn't go anywhere, and this should allow me to easily get on the 5 ball. The problem from there is I need the right angle on the 5 to get on the left-hand side of the 6 ball, or this side right here, because that's the only real pocket we have for it. And from there, getting from the 6 to the 8, because the 7 ball went on the combination, should not be a problem from the 6 to the 8, and it also shouldn't be a problem from the 8 back onto the 9. So although there's problems, I should easily be able to handle this rack. Let's see what we do. Now, that's not a good start, and we're on the wrong side of the 2 ball, so we're going to have to move the cue ball around 1, 2, maybe 3 rails, probably 2 rails to get on this 3 ball. The issue here is we're going through a little bit of traffic, which we never wanted. Yeah, it's going to be 2 rails because we're going to hit the 4, which, it didn't really disturb it much. I'm still going to shoot that 4-7 combination. So let's see if we can get right from the 3 to the 4-7 combination, and I think I see the line. That's what I was pointing at there, except the line was all the way back up table. Yeah, So that's pretty strong, huh? You gotta be really, really careful here, and you gotta hit this right. We need to hit that 7 ball full, and we need to hit it lightly. While also controlling that cue ball and getting in the right position to get right on the 5 ball. And don't forget, we need an angle on that 5 to get to the 6. Yeah, I would have liked a little bit of a bigger angle, but I'm not going to be picky here. We should easily get from the 5 to the 6. Oh, but oh no, we get bad on the 6, and we need to stop here and talk about something. There's this female goddess that lived in South Philadelphia, and her name was Lisa. And for whatever reason she actually talked to me and treated me with respect and listened to what I had to say. And the whole time I'd be sitting there thinking, why is this stunning example of womanhood giving me the time? I mean, I'm a dirty kid that works at a gas station for minimum wage. I'm trying to play pool in my spare time. Why is this woman talking to me? So I was not used to it. I was used to people not hearing a word I say, blowing me off like the stupid little kid that I was. Anyhow, we would sit on, there's this big Catholic church, and we would sit on the steps in South Philly, drinking dirt cheap wine and smoking cigarettes, and just talking. And we do this like once a week, and over time, I mean, I was completely confused about what this woman saw in me. I knew what I saw in her. It was everything life is supposed to be. So I'm falling in mad infatuation with this woman, and she happens to work. Well, this is where we met. She works at that time was Philadelphia's most notorious pool. Lisa is 100% Italian, right? And not only is she 100% Italian, but she has family in the Philadelphia mob, right? If you know anything about Philadelphia Italian people, the ones that live in South Philly, you do not cross certain lines if you want to stay alive. They don't let their daughters get involved with boys that aren't Italian. And I'm French, okay? I'm a French dumb kid. So I knew not to make a natural move on Lisa, but I have a whole different plan. Yeah, I've come up with the master dumb kid. So there's a big tournament coming up in Philadelphia, right? At this pool room where Lisa works. It would be here that I would learn the most valuable lesson of my pool journey. I'm going to win this tournament and win over Lisa and win over the respect of the Philadelphia mob. And they're going to let me in, right? They're going to let me become the French member of the Italian mob. That's about as stupid as you can get, and that's how stupid it is. So there's other things happening in my life, right? My immediate family moved to Tennessee weeks prior to this big tournament. And I'm on my own, and I'm working for minimum wage at a gas station, and I'm just dead broke. I'm just broke, as broke as you can get. I'm living off of the generosity of people who were letting me sleep on their sofas. I'm doing everything to not go to Tennessee. I'm staying in Philly. You guys can go. I love you. Bye. And this is my big plan, to stay in Philadelphia, become the one French member of the mob, and they'll give me a job at, one of their casinos in Atlantic City, and I'll marry Lisa, and life will be wonderful. You don't do it. You don't move in on an Italian female. You don't do it. You just do not do it. The Italian people are the greatest people I've ever met. They'll feed you if you're hungry, and they'll let you sleep on the sofa if you need a good night's sleep. And they'll feed you, believe me, they'll feed you the best food you ever ate in your life. They're great, great people, but you do not make a move on their daughters. Do not do that. So the tournament payout for this tournament is pretty strong, especially if you're just a dumb kid. It was decent, even in today's standards for non-professional tournaments. The payout was good. And I'm playing good, and I really practiced hard, and I really bared down on my game, and I was playing good, and I got all the way to the hot seat match before. So the guy I'm getting ready to play in the hot seat match is actually Lisa's uncle, whose name some of you guys would know. He didn't go on to become a household name, but he was a very, very good pool player. So I gotta play him for the hot seat, and at the same time, I know that part of his role in the family is to keep an eye on his niece and keep her out of trouble. And I'm also certain that he has to know that something is going on with me and Lisa. So he beats me, right? And he pretty much went 5 and out because it's winter break. I think I had 2 shots, and one time I was hitting, and another time I just screwed it all up. So I get sent to the outside, right? And I got to play for another chance at him for the finals of the tournament. And I'm determined to get back there and beat him. And I'm beating the guy I'm playing on the outside. I'm beating him 4-3, and I'm playing great. I'm really playing great pool. I'm being reckless, but I'm still managing to get out and win. So if I win this game, I get another chance to go play Lisa's uncle. I'm on the key ball, the ball that you shoot before you get on the 8 ball. And I shoot it, and I get horrible, horrible, terrible position on the 8. And that results in me taking a wild shot just to hit the 8 and have some kind of chance. And I missed the whole 8 ball, and the guy takes ball and he runs out, right? So then he breaks and he runs out again. So I'm out. I'm done. My pool tournament is done. And I'm really, really angry at myself, and I'm really really drilling myself, because to me and in my head, I'm not just getting knocked out of a pool tournament. I'm losing my whole future. I'm going to have to go to Tennessee, which I seriously didn't want to do. All my hope, I'm losing a woman in my dream. I'm losing everything's on the line, and it just goes away with one stupid little pull shot. So I go get my $1,200, right, and I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I mean, I cannot watch the finals of this tournament with 2 guys who put me out of the tournament. And it's bad etiquette, but I had to get out of there before I just exploded. And so I get to the pavement, and I hear the door creak behind me, and it's Lisa's uncle calling my name. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. And I just want to get the hell out of there. But he wants to talk to me, and I make an excuse that I'm out of time. I gotta be somewhere, and so he promises. He tells me to promise him to be back there tomorrow and to meet him there. So I do, and I'm thinking, okay, I have to be there. And he's gonna kill me. The family, they're gonna kill me. They're gonna cut me up in some kind of kitchen appliance, and no one's ever gonna see me again. And this is how my life ends. And that's what I'm thinking. But I get there the next day, and he was the nicest guy. I never really talked to this guy. I knew, who he was, a big name, and I knew who he was. Um, and he's being as nice as can be to me, and he sets up a pull shot on the pool table and tells me to shoot it. So I shoot it, and I make it. It's an easy shot. And he sets up another pull shot and tells me to take the same shot. He pulls the cue ball out and tells me to shoot it from there, so I shoot it from there. And when we go through this 4 times, and here's the 4 shots he sets up. All right. So he sets this up, and I make it, and then he puts the cue ball over here, same shot, and make it, and he puts the cue ball over here, and I make it again, and he puts the cue ball here, and I make it again. It's all real easy, no big deal. In the time that we're doing this, he's talking, he's telling, and he brings up wine, okay, and I believe to this day this is him warning me and telling me he knows what Lisa and I are doing. But he said something about Philadelphia streets being filled with homeless winos who used to be pool players but never got this through their heads, something like that. So this 3 ball is representing the 8 ball that I got bad on in the semifinals. And he points out that I tried to get right here and get absolutely perfect on that 8 ball shot. So he throws out the rest of the solid balls on the table and puts them around the table, sort of how they were when I screwed up on this 8 ball. And here's what I have, and I'm stripes, and that's the key ball, which tells me right away I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. Because the key ball should be a closer ball to the 8 ball to make it easier to get on the 8 ball. But then he points out that I had a simple out right here, and all I had to do was put the cue ball anywhere around this area right here. That's the safe zone. Instead, I did this and tried to go 3 or 4 rounds all the way back on the 8 ball, and I wound up hitting that 4 ball or whatever ball was there, which caused me to go head first into the 8 ball, and I wind up with this. And the only shot I can find is to go to the right hand side where I'll put a ton of left hand English on it and totally reverse the angle coming back on the 8 ball. And if I caught it and if I made it, great. But if I missed, okay, my opponent does not have a simple out. He's going to have to work at least a little bit. I shot it too hard. The English did not take, and it was like hitting a brick wall. And I didn't even come close to hitting the 8 ball, so he takes ball in hand. And not only wins that game, but wins the match. This lesson that I'm getting is causing the light bulb in the head to finally turn the hell on. And it was my first example in life with not letting perfection be the enemy of good enough. All I had to do, I could have went down to the top rail with reverse English and just bounced off the center table. I could have went 2 rails and just lightened up on my stroke and got anywhere in this area. And not only would I have won that game, but the whole match, and I'd be playing for first place. There's so many lessons in here, and a lot of them have to do with ego and all the years of believing people that were telling us how hard this game is just to make an excuse for their bad play. Trying too hard, wanting to entertain people, thinking it's life or death, and it goes on and on. And by now, you have to be wondering what this whole story has to do with that original rack that we were trying to run out and we only got up to the 6 ball. You remember this? Yeah, the first thing you should see is that it's a thin cut, so you're going to have to shoot this with a little bit of speed. The next thing you should know is if you try to get perfect on this 8 ball, there's a very, very, very good chance that you're going to screw it up and get bad on the 8 ball. If you put inside English on this ball to kill it off that right hand rail in an effort to get perfect on the 8, there's a real good chance that you're either going to scratch or you're going to wind up really bad on the 8 somewhere over here or even worse down here. The most important thing you should be telling yourself is that you don't have to be perfect. Anywhere in this black zone would be absolutely fine to shoot this 8 and get perfect on the 9 ball. Lisa and I met up about a week after the tournament at the church, and we shared a bottle of cheap wine and a pack of cigarettes, and I told her everything. I just laid everything out on the line, which she thought was hysterical, which made me feel like a stupid kid. But she assured me it was never going to happen, and actually it already happened. And she also said that her family wouldn't kill me, they would just scare the hell out of me, and I'd never want to come back there. She also said that she would never get involved with a pool player because her dad was a serious pool player, and he was always gone somewhere on the road, and or just out gambling all night. It was a shitty way for her to grow up. So she just liked to hang out with me because we both drank wine and we both smoked cigarettes, and I actually gave her my undivided attention and took her serious. And Italian men are not notorious for doing that, so it was different, and she appreciated that. She just saw me as someone to hang out with and talk to. And still to this day, we still communicate through Messenger on the internet. So I didn't accomplish my life's dream and all the ambition I had for all that crazy stuff, but I did improve my pool game a lot, and I learned a lot. And I still say today that was the most valuable, greatest pool lesson ever.